Governor, you're wrong. You need to apologize to these agents. They're doing their jobs. They are Americans. They serve this country with honor and decency and respect. Do not diminish their work simply because you tried to make a cheap point that you could tweet.
Guys, you are not going to believe what happened in the House Oversight Committee. We've got three of the biggest sanctuary state governors, Pritzker, Hawk, and yes, Tim Walz, getting absolutely dragged by Representative Byron. If you ever wanted to see what it looks like when virtue signaling meets reality, this is it. These governors are spending billions of your tax dollars on illegal immigration. And when asked simple questions, they have zero answers. But wait until you see the end. Tim Walz gets caught trying to defend calling American law enforcement the Gestapo. It is absolutely humiliating. Let's dive in.
Chair, and I recognize Mr. Donalds from Florida.
Thank you, Chairman. To piggyback off my colleague, Governor Pritzker, how much does the state of Illinois spend on illegal immigration every year?
Again, illegal immigration, that's a federal responsibility. They could tell how much is wasted as a result of their failures.
Governor, don't you keep track of how many people are on your Medicaid rolls, how many people who are illegal immigrants in the state of Illinois who are getting actually benefits in your state? Doesn't your government keep track of that?
They don't get Medicaid in Illinois or any state, as far as I know.
Governor Pritzker, you do not keep track of any public service dollars in the state of Illinois that goes to illegal immigrants or goes to people in your state who are not legal residents of the United States and of the state of Illinois. You don't keep track of that.
We absolutely keep track of our budget, and we're very closely. And in fact, it's been balanced for 7 years in a row, unlike the Republican before me. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I noticed that in the state of Illinois, you guys don't really keep track of your money, because I asked your mayor in Chicago similar question about a month ago, and he didn't have an answer. It was quite interesting. I think this might be an Illinois problem. Governor Hochul, in your state, you are spending about roughly $4 billion on illegal immigration. And at the same time, you are actually asking the federal government for $4 billion to finish Penn Station. Don't you think it would be better to stop funding illegal immigrants in your state and actually use those resources to finish Penn Station as opposed to coming to the federal government for the money?
Penn Station is owned by Amtrak, not by the state, so it's an appropriate use of their dollars, and Donald Trump has agreed to spend upwards of $7 billion. I appreciated that very much. What we spend on immigrants, the immigrants who are here hardworking to live a life and working on our farms and taking care of our parents in nursing homes and taking care of our children, they have been coming here for 400 years. And we don't keep track of individuals based on their status. We make sure that people have services so we don't end up with an unexpected.
So essentially what you're telling me is that you keep no track of money that is going to people who are not legal in the United States, resources that are taken away from New Yorkers, resources that are taken away from Illinoisans. You guys do not keep track of any of this.
You know what's really challenging is that many people came here with legal status. I mean, temporary protective status, 300,000.
Do you
all of a sudden they wake up one day and it's gone.
Do you go along with the strategy from the Biden administration, which massively expanded immigration protocols that overwhelmed your city and overwhelmed your state? Do you agree with that?
We call for secure borders. We call for this body to
I never
do its
remember
job.
you calling for secure borders at all, Governor Hochul.
We certainly have.
That
we
doesn't
certainly
sound
have.
like him to my memory.
Many conversations I had with the White House. And we asked for federal resources. I mean, you're putting a federal problem on our laps. And you know what? It gets old after a while. I wish you would just do your job.
If your party actually would do the job of securing the nation the way President Trump has now had to do twice, we wouldn't be in this predicament. Wouldn't you agree? Do you agree or disagree that securing the nation's borders is the job of the President of the United States? President Trump has done that job twice now.
Well,
and previous Democrat presidents have not done that job. Wouldn't you agree with that?
This has been a problem that's been in place since I was a young staffer here on Capitol Hill. We worked on immigration, and Ronald Reagan signed amnesty for 3 million people.
You know, it's interesting you bring up Reagan's amnesty in '86. You know, part of that deal was to actually build border wall and secure it. But the Democrat Party refuses to build border wall. You oppose it every single time. Is that your position? Do you now support border walls?
There has been many times when bipartisan legislation is presented to this body, and people just walk away from it. They refuse to do the hard work of governing that governors like us have to do every single day. When I leave here, I'm going to go home and govern a state. I'm not going to tweet about this experience because I have too much work to do taking care of New Yorkers. And
You're really not doing a good job, Governor Hochul, because a lot of New Yorkers are actually coming into my state. In Florida, many of them, they come all the time because they actually want to come to a state that is well run, that protects citizens, does not allow illegal aliens to victimize citizens like they are victimized in the state of New York, like they are victimized in the state of Illinois, like they are victimized in the state of Minnesota. They choose states like Florida and Texas to find safer places to live and raise their families. Hold on, Governor Hochul. We've had enough
crime
time.
rates are much
Governor
lower
Walz,
than
you've been
yours.
sitting over there
Much
pretty
lower.
quiet. I got a question for you.
I love to talk. Thank you, Congressman.
Fair enough. You said earlier that the ICE agents under the orders of President Trump are a modern-day Gestapo. Do you realize how disgusting a phrase that is, considering the history of Nazi Germany? Would you like to recant that statement?
What I said, Congressman, and I have a long history of supporting law enforcement, I said President Trump was using them as his modern-day Gestapo, not identifying who you are, coming up in unmarked vans, taking people away and giving...
Is it the responsibility of ICE to actually deport illegal aliens in the United States who are here? Isn't that their responsibility?
Yes, it is, Congressman, except that the Constitution is not an inconvenience. It's not an either-or.
Nobody
You
said
can
an
do your
inconvenience.
job and
You have a
practice
responsibility to deport illegal aliens, and the
Through due
president is
process.
going through that process right now.
We are
And
not
let's
just-
be very clear, the previous administration, they abused every process there is under border laws to allow more than 10 million people into the country illegally. And this is a burden on all Americans. And so the president is doing his job. So it is sick to refer to Americans who are ICE agents as Gestapo. Governor, you're wrong. You need to apologize to these agents. They're doing their jobs. They are Americans. They serve this country with honor and decency and respect. Do not diminish their work simply because you tried to make a cheap point that you could tweet. I yield back.
Wow. Did you catch that silence at the end? That is the sound of total defeat. Let's break this down because Byron Donalds just gave a masterclass on how to dismantle a narrative. First, let's talk about Governor Pritzker from Illinois. Notice the deflection right out of the gate. Donalds asks a simple financial question. How much are you spending? And Pritzker goes, well, that's a federal problem. Excuse me, you are the governor. You are writing the checks. How do you not know how much of your own state's budget is going to non-citizens? Donalds nailed him on the Medicaid question. Pritzker claims they don't get Medicaid, but we all know states are funding massive health benefits for undocumented migrants under different names. Pritzker playing dumb here isn't a strategy. It's an admission that he's lost control of his own checkbook. Then we move to New York and Kathy Hochul. This was beautiful. She's asking the feds for $4 billion for Penn Station infrastructure that actual citizens use every day while simultaneously torching $4 billion on illegal immigration costs. Donald's point is undeniable. Prioritize your citizens. In her response, she blames Trump. It is the classic Democrat playbook. When their policies fail, they pivot to orange man bad. She's been in charge. Her party has been in the White House. Yet, she's still crying about 1986 and Ronald Reagan. Give me a break. But the main event, the absolute disgrace of this hearing, was Tim Walz. Look at him. He's been sitting there quiet, hoping Donalds forgets he's there. No such luck. Donalds brings up the Gestapo comment. For those who don't know, Walz called ICE agents, fellow Americans doing a dangerous job, a modern-day Gestapo. That is a comparison to Nazis. It is vile. It is hateful. And it is disqualifying. And watch Walz's defense. He tries the "I was taken out of context" routine. Oh, I meant Trump was using them like the Gestapo. No. Governor, you don't get to wiggle out of this. You demonized American servicemen and women to score cheap political points on Twitter. Donalds didn't let him breathe. He looked him dead in the eye and said, "They are Americans. Do not diminish their work." That was the kill shot. Walz said nothing. He just sat there looking down, looking weak because he knows he's wrong. Byron Donalds just exposed the entire sanctuary state scam in 4 minutes. These governors want the credit for being welcoming, but they want you to pay the bill. And they hate the law enforcement officers who actually try to keep us safe. Tell me in the comments, do you think Walz should apologize to ICE? Because after that beat down, I think he owes the whole country an apology. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more reality checks. See you in the next one.